Okay, so this is a Chevy Blazer cucv with the diesel 6.2 in it, and we're having drivability issues. And I took a short video of it running once we got it running finally, and it was suggested that we're sucking air into the fuel system, and to start replacing rubber lines and stuff. So we did the line at the back where the two steel lines on the frame come together back by the passenger rear wheel. That's a piece of 3/8 fuel line. We put fuel injection clamps on instead of the regular clamps just to make sure we had a good seal. We're going to do the same up here. This is 3/8 line here. It goes from the steel line to the pump. I'll do that when we're all done, because I'm going to end up putting a clacker pump here to refill this new fuel filter. So we took the fuel filter off, I dumped it, and all kinds of rusty water came out of it, like tons of water. With it, it was orangish. So I don't know if the rust is from the tank. I don't know if when we got it running on the trailer and we moved it off the trailer, it sucked water in from the bottom of the tank, or if the water was already in here, because I've had people tell me that they get water in here frequently and they have to drain it a couple times a year. There's a drain on the bottom, just a drain. There is a water in fuel light, but apparently they don't work, or they don't work the way they're supposed to tell you there's water inside this thing. So the next line we did, there's a steel line that runs from your lift pump on the block through here, and it comes out up here. You can see right here where we put the new fuel injection clamp. So this is also 3/8 line, goes up into your filter housing right here, another fuel injection clamp, and then the last line is going to be this line. And I had to redo the video because I was saying the wrong size line. This is actually 1/4 inch line that runs from the housing outlet to your injector pump, and it hooks in. Let me see if we can see it. It's hard to see right there. So I'm going to point at it with the end of this long screwdriver. See the clamp? Right there. We use a fuel injection clamp on that also. So this right here, I didn't think you could get off without the plenum. People online said you could. So they said use 1/4 inch drive and a universal socket. So what was on here originally, there was a worm clamp on here, and it was sticking straight up facing the bottom of the plenum to where you couldn't get on it. So what we ended up having to do is, on ours it was a 1/4 inch socket. We need a 1/4 inch socket to do it. So let me set this back up here. What we ended up doing is got a long extension like this, 1/4 inch drive. We actually used 2 of them, and it took 2 of us doing this. I'm sure you could do it by yourself. And what we did was we came over from here, from the side here, and came in from the side, and so you need the socket to droop like that, and you'll come in. And this isn't, I could probably show you where the socket is, but obviously the clamp is not the same clamp in the same position now. But it'll give you the idea. So, see your socket there? The clamp that was in there was facing straight up and down. So once you get on there with the 1/4 inch socket, 1/4 inch drive, with a universal or swivel, you're going to want to push down on it. So you want somebody in the front here to make sure that you stay on it, because you're not just going to be here. In order to see it properly, we actually had a second long extension on it coming all the way out here under the master cylinder, because if you stand here and you look under the master cylinder, you can actually get a straight shot at what you're trying to get the socket onto. And once you get the socket on there with these two long extensions, your ratchet's going to be, let me zoom out here, your ratchet's going to be somewhere out here. So, and this will be up against the bottom of the master cylinder, which you can use that as leverage to lift up on that, to keep leverage to push down on that socket to keep it on the worm clamp that you're trying to undo. Once you get it going and get it undone quite a bit, before you pull the socket off, take a really long screwdriver and just get down in there. I think my other light died. Yes, it did. You're going to get down in there. My light died. And you're just going to push on the just going to push on the front here, front of the hose, and you'll push it right off. Well, you can't see with this because I can't get in a good enough area with enough light, but you'll push the hose off. And what the hose does is it comes out over here in this little metal bracket. So it comes out, comes under the plenum, comes out here, runs alongside the other hose hooks there. So what you'll do is you'll take that little bracket and you just bend it over and the hose will come out. Undo that, pull the hose off, and you're good. And then just measure it up against a fresh piece of 1/4 inch fuel line. And to get it back on, what I did was I put the injection clamp on there and I put it in a way so it's facing the driver's side from underneath though. So you want the screw under the hose and facing the driver's side so you can access it from over here. And I had somebody feed it through, and I grabbed it from the side here with a pair of these hose pliers that I have. You can get these at Harbor Freight. They come in a set of, well, these came in a set of 3, but these are old. So these are specifically for breaking loose hose and manipulating hose and tubing without damaging it. So I was able to grab through here, reach through here, grab the hose, get it up onto that nipple and slide it forward, and then grab it back a little bit farther and slide it forward the rest of the way, and then go back in from the side here with a shorter extension. We didn't need to go back on, we didn't need a super long extension. So I used this extension, the shorter one. This is probably 10 inch, maybe 6 inch, 10 inch, something like that. I've got a deep well socket on there because it's just what I grabbed. And that'll get you straight in from the side here to tighten that clamp all the way. I use fuel injection clamps because I have them, and that way I know they're sealing all the way around perfectly. Even though they're really not needed because it's all low pressure side. The fuel injection clamp took a 6mm. I don't know why. They just did. But the original screw clamp that was under there took a 1/4 inch. Now the hose that I took off, where did I set it? Let me see. Hold on. Okay, so this is the hose that we took off. This has got to be the original hose. It's got a part number on there. 1/4 inch line. This is all the writing on it. So this hose is hard, and it's got that there where it was basically kinked shut. You can see it was kinked in there because it's deformed, and kinked in there because it's deformed. So it's basically kinked shut, and that was not from the bracket, because you can see this is where the bracket was holding it. So that was definitely an issue. This hose was definitely bad. It's hard. I don't know if you can see on the ends, it's cracked on the ends. So this here may have been the problem, or all of the hoses may have been the problem. It's not a formed hose, it just looks like that because it's so old and it's hardened that it's stuck in the position that it was on the vehicle. So that definitely had to have been causing an issue, because you're restricting the flow, if nothing else. The other thing was the worm clamp that was on this end of it, up at the filter. I was able to move the line, like turn the line. So it definitely was not sealing there. It was probably picking up air there, among other places. So hopefully this helps somebody out. That's gives you an idea of how to get that line off without taking the plenum off. So you can replace that fuel line that goes up there to the filter. It was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was dreading doing it. I thought it was going to be a complete nightmare because you could barely see the clamp that's under there, and with the clamp facing straight up, I honestly didn't think it was. I thought I was going to be out here for hours just fighting with that clamp, trying to get it off, and then trying to fight the line back, the new line back in there and everything. But you know, I guess years of experience doing this type of shit pays off, because it makes things a little bit easier. But it was not that bad overall, and that should give you an idea of how to do it. So hopefully, we're hoping that this fixes our issue. We also had a dead glow plug solenoid, so we replaced the glow plug solenoid. All the glow plugs were bad, so we're replacing all the glow plugs. We're waiting for them to show up, and I'm just going to put a push button in for that, because the card's also bad, which is probably why the glow plugs are bad. So hopefully once we get the new glow plugs in, I'll put the push button in for the solenoid. We'll get this all bled out, and then I'll crack the lines. We'll crank it over and get it bled out to the injectors, and hopefully it'll fire up and not give us any more issues as far as fuel. Or there's more water in the tank, we're gonna have to pull the tank or drain the tank fully in some way, shape, or form. So that's where we're at. But like I said, hopefully that helps you guys out as far as replacing that 1/4-inch line that runs from the filter housing down to your injector pump. And if you don't know, this is an air bleed here to bleed the air out of your fuel filter, your fuel system, whatever. So that's what this nipple is here. There should be a hose on it that goes down so you can put a pan under it, but you just unscrew this when you're pumping, cranking, whatever, and fuel and air and shit will come out of there. Then you tighten it back down. It's plastic, don't break it off. Alright, like and subscribe.